Once I got here, my brother and my sister-in-law did their best to make me comfortable. And it was just really nonstop, man. There was always something to do. They were very active, so I really got caught up into what they were doing. And they were young. They were just graduating college, 22, 23. So I was around a lot of young adults, and them having kids. So I had a good time when I moved here, but it was difficult leaving.
Right, because like I remember even going to school. Like I remember my first couple of years, well, not my first couple of years, probably like maybe a few years. Like I was in public school because my dad wanted me to be in public school at the time. But after the third grade, my mom was like, "Nah, I want him to go to private school. I want him to finish out, from grade school to like when he graduates from high school. I want him to really, go to private school." So my first year in private school, it was kind of hard, because I'm so used to like of a bigger crowd, I'm so used to like just seeing way more different people, and it also like we had to go to church all the time and stuff. Like I grew up in the church, but it was like we literally had mass like every either Wednesday or Friday. So in my mind, I was like, wow, like this gonna be kind of like of a challenge. But then after a while, like, I have two best friends that I met at that school, and to this day, like we still cool. Even the friends that I went to the school at the time, like we all doing good. Like they doctors and lawyers and things of that nature. And like sometimes people understand like change is a must, because you never know, that change could really bless you a lot, in any aspect of life.
Absolutely, and I second that as well. I mean, that sounds like my testimony. But mine, I guess, started a lot earlier before I went to private or Catholic school. Mm-hmm. It was over from Chicago. That was 90% all black in my school, if not 95. Mm-hmm. And I moved here, and it's the first school I went to might have been 60-40 black. You know what I mean? So I'm getting used to being in class with white kids and things like that. And then, I get identified as just needing help in school. So I had to take the test. I ended up not doing well, or identified that I needed more help than others. So I had to go to an all-white school and get enrolled into a special ed program. And it was kind of like a culture shock to me, I won't lie. Mm-hmm. Being the majority, then turning into the minority, and, second guessing what people think about you, and, how you talk and how they talk and things like that. So, and, I moved up in third grade. Before fifth grade, I'm at a predominantly white school and having to adjust. I credit my family, helping me understand at a young age, trying not to see color and taking people for face value, right, on how they treat you and how they treat others, and trying to put color behind you. And then that going into, going to 6th, 7th, and 8th grade, where I'm finally at a school where it's, 60-40 again, black-white or white-black. So it's more, diverse than where I came from, and getting into my comfort zone and becoming the person I am, and, not dictating who I'm with or how I act, and then being blessed to have an opportunity to go to pretty much an all-white school, Catholic school, to get a great education, preparing me for college, and being able to play a sport that I love. But it's funny how life plays out. Stuff that I learned in 4th and 5th grade when I went to the all-white school really helped me in my transition to high school, where I had friends that they was just learning and getting integrated with a white majority all-white school. Right. I was more comfortable. I went through that transition already. And it's, as we continue to talk and I, become athletic directly, the things that I went through really helped propel me in that aspect as well. So it's funny, man. God gives you what you need, not what you want all the time, man. And if you can open your heart and eyes and be able to see that or accept it, man, it's amazing how things work out.
Right, exactly. And before we get into your athletic director career, like real quick, like how was like playing with LeBron and Drew and all the guys that like playing for a private school And I remember LeBron said something on one of his shows. He was saying that, you know, it was kind of like how you said it was kind of weird for him at first to go to a private school where you so used to being around, you know, a lot of black folks, but you see a lot of like, you know, white people and things like that. Was it like any like kind of like challenges, like being like the black athletes, you know, at the school at the time? Like did people treat y'all differently or the wrong way?
So the first part playing with LeBron, man, I have to be honest, man, it was amazing. Mm-hmm. The exposure that we got playing with him and you know, being able to identify, you know, you come in as a freshman, you think you're just as good, you want to compete. And we all played varsity as freshmen, but I played JV and varsity, so I wasn't there yet. I'm growing. And I went through a shoulder injury my freshman year playing football that really kind of set me back. Right. I missed, you know, preseason. So I played all 4 years basketball, but I feel like, you know, I went through some obstacles the day they go through, but it was amazing playing with them. We became family over those 4 years. You go in with 3 other guys, and the fourth come in our sophomore year, and y'all just have common goals. Y'all want to be great. Y'all willing to make the sacrifices and discipline in the classroom and in the community and hold yourself the right way, and great things happen, and we won championships. Then on the other note, you know, with all their success, you know, you had people in school and the community that loved you and looked up to you to a certain extent. Then on the other end, you had people that was envious. You know what I mean? So we got special treatment. We had, you know, in the state, in the school, in the community, tough stuff was given to us, and they didn't understand that we had a great village around us that challenged us to be great and not accept shortcuts and stuff like that. And it was a lot of growth in those 4 years. Boys became men in high school. You know, we had a great high school coach, Coach Danbrock. They said the only thing that he wouldn't hold us accountable for was getting to practice because we couldn't drive. But other than that, the ability to focus and the commitment and the hard work, you know, that he demanded that out of us. But we had a great coach in Coach Drew that helped prepare us to get to that point in high school. You know, he was our AAU coach that went to high school with us, that was an assistant. So it was great to have him help develop us and best the parents around us. So it was an amazing time. And I have to be honest, I was naive to the fact of how great LeBron was in the total aspect. You know, he was great to us, but was he great on the national scale? We traveled a lot, and he was always one of the best that played. But in the back of my head, I always wondered if it was someone better. You know what I mean? But then when we start playing these national teams, and you got Nike All-Americans and went to camp, and you see, you know, LeBron was just a matchup problem. He was too big for guards that had his same skill set. Right. You know what I mean? But then when you put somebody on his size,
he was too fast.
They didn't have the skill level. You know, they was kind of coordinated. They was big. So you kind of started to see he was kind of like a specimen. It wasn't nobody like him. But to be honest, man, it was probably 5 or 6 years ago when I think ESPN had a special on him, and it had kind of like a timeline and he kind of hopped back and forth to, you know, where he was in his career and his growth and how he was pictured in the nation, right, and what was going on locally. And when he was in the McDonald's camp, they had footage that we never seen. And he got dubbed the number 1 player in the country as a sophomore. And to watch that footage and to play with him, you can see he got dubbed the number 1 player in the country, and he wasn't even comfortable out there. He was making routine plays, but he ain't had that gorilla look on his face like he was comfortable going at people. He was just playing basketball the right way and still dominate. Right. You know, if he had that look on his face, he had another level he could take it to. And that kind of amazed me 5 or 6 years ago when I seen that. Like, man, he wasn't even playing the best he could play, and he was still better than so many other people. Then it jumped to a timeline. So, you know, when we was in college, and he was playing in the pros and growing. You know, the first 2 or 3 years when he played in the NBA, you know, he was doing routine stuff. He didn't even do stuff I had never seen before. People was in amazement of it. It was probably year 4 or 5 when he did stuff like, man, he takes it to the next level. Now I've never seen it. And, you know, and to still be able to interact with him and see with him, you know, during the summertime, the work he was putting in, he didn't get comfortable. And we have quite a few NBA players that come from Akron. A lot of people may not know we got 2 top 50 players that's in there, Nate Thurman and stuff like that. And you had Jerome Lang who went to St. V and stuff like that. And as youngsters, we always say, man, if we get an opportunity to be great, we gonna cherish that. We won't do nothing to mess it up. And to see him with the same discipline as when he was while he in the pros, like we talked about, and being a college athlete, and people cut corners and how they treat people and stuff like that.
Right.
He was a motivational factor for me, man. I ain't gonna lie. Once we got out of high school and how he carried himself and talked and stuff like that, man, it was inspiring to me, man. I would be lying to say that it wasn't.
Yeah, I was gonna ask you how was it like just seeing him, coming from Akron, going straight into the NBA and just seeing him, how his growth from his rookie year, even to now, to me, I respect LeBron James so much is because the fact that not just on the court but off the court, he's a businessman, he's an activist. I'm sorry, but he does just so much. And when he was down here in Miami for 4 years, it was different. Like a lot of us, me and my homeboys and stuff, we would say it was just so different down here because it wasn't just because of the superstar. It was just because that he do so much for the city. You get what I'm saying? He did a lot of stuff for the city, and he may not realize it, or people may not realize it. That's not from here. Just like I'm not from Akron, because I know he's doing a lot. It impact the city a lot. But down here in Miami, especially in Florida, we known for 2 sports really is football and baseball pretty much. Once he came and left, it's so many kids that want to play basketball. Now they having, ESPN and Slam magazine coming down south for basketball, which is kind of weird for us, but that's how much impact that he could bring to a city. Even now, in L.A., he's doing his work, but at the end of the day, he always, he never forgets home, Akron, Ohio, and stuff like that. And that's why I really respect the man, and even y'all, even yourself and everyone, that was on the high school team and stuff, and just the inner circle, all y'all doing everything that's great, and that's motivation, so.
Oh, absolutely, man. I definitely understand when you say that, man. At a young age when we was in high school, first of all, his ability draws people in, and they marvel at it, they respect him and that. But him as a person and the things that he values and speaks on, how he carries himself. A lot of people get pulled in different directions, let people make decisions for him. I think he's a person that surrounded himself with great people that he trusts. But he's not a yes man. He's always been a person that has a vision and was able to execute it and put the time in. And so I've always admired that about him. But with that, him understanding his influence and you have it, but what you doing with it? You know what I mean? What are you doing to give back? That's what I admire the most. You know what I mean? It's always been bigger than him. He's always been a team guy, and that just oozes over into the community and just doing the right things and impacting other people and the youth and stuff like that. So it was hard for me to see when he left to go to Miami. Mm-hmm. He had every right to make that decision, but people want to tear him down for going on TV and doing it. But in reality, he went on TV to do it to give back to Boys and Girls Club. I just thought it was so unfair and unjust for him. So it was hard to see a family member go through that bullshit. And then you know where his heart is for him still being the bigger person. So it's a lot of respect to him and his family and his support system to not fall into what people think about you, to do what's in your heart, what a lot of people can't do or don't choose to do. or don't have the courage to do, man, and to speak on issues that he speak on, where his heart is at,